Hi everyone, I'm here at the Reno train station. I just got back from my wonderful time at BLFC. So I'm waiting for a train back to the West Coast. While I will not be sharing this journey with you, I do want to share another journey I took back in November that was pretty unique on the train. So sit back, relax, enjoy this video I took back in November, and I'll see you around at the end of this video. I'm going to be taking the Coast Starlight, one of Amtrak's long-distance train routes. While this line stretches from Los Angeles to Seattle, taking around 35 hours, I'll be hopping on roughly midway in Emeryville, California, right next to San Francisco, and taking the remaining 20-hour journey back home to Seattle. I arrived at the Emeryville station at 9:45 p.m., just as an announcement went out stating that our train was held over not too far away to switch locomotives, thus delaying our trip by 45 minutes. Oh, Amtrak, ever so punctual. The basic station had little in the way to pass its time and appeared more like a relic from the 1990s. Oh god, those colors. There are DMV-style chairs, and to sate one's hunger, there was a closed-down cafe. Cash only, of course. 45 minutes pass, and sure enough, our train is on its way, about an hour behind schedule. We were all guided to the same area for boarding. I went on this train before, several years ago in coach, and learned very quickly how hard it is to get any shut-eye in what basically amounted to a recliner. There are options for a private bedroom on board depending on your budget, and as I'm not made of money, I went with a smaller roomette. To put it generously, this is more of a closet with a bunk bed than an actual room. This is tiny. Despite the compact nature of the roomette, there was enough space for me to comfortably lay down in almost any position. Anyways, enough of that, and time for me to get some rest. When I woke up around 8 a.m., we had just passed Mount Shasta and were approaching the California-Oregon border. While sleep did take a while, the bumpy track made me feel like I was going to fly off to bed at any moment. I was surprised that I managed to get a decent amount of sleep. I was getting peckish for breakfast in a dining car, but first I need to shower. Now let's grab some food. Amtrak offers a dining car exclusive to all sleeping car passengers. The food, while limited in selection, is complimentary. Historically, seating was communal. In other words, if you were solo, you'd be paired up with other parties in one table. Nowadays, for obvious reasons, it's one party per table. The breakfast and lunch options were shown on one page. I opted for the omelette with a croissant and a poultry sausage. The food came served on a plastic plate looking not unlike a reheated TV dinner. The croissant was good, but that's really hard to mess up. Potatoes came out crispy and flavorful to my surprise. The sausage had a Jimmy Dean quality to it, spicy, sweet, but highly processed and heavy on the salt. The egg was decent on its own, but nothing to write home about until I remembered that this was a loaded omelette. Once I dug into the onions, peppers, and cheese within, I was in heaven. Overall, not a bad meal. Once breakfast was done, we were entering the depths of the Southern Cascades of Oregon, and also a mobile data dead zone. While most people passed time with a book, downloaded music, or movies, or even tabletop games, I decided to pass time in my own way. a view of the Vermont in daytime mode. So it could technically seat 2 people, but if you look here, there's not enough leg room if you include 2 people. It's gonna be tight. There's a little bit of a storage area here. Downstairs to be for a backpack, but because I have a lot of stuff in my backpack, makes no sense. It's too small. You have towels up front, up there. A little bit of a mirror. Fox not included, I just bought them on board. And there's this 2 bottles of water, Kleenex, and a menu. This is a table that comes out like so, and it's a bit snug, like right up to my thigh. And yeah, there is a little chessboard you can play. The one downside to this room is that there's only one outlet right there. So if you have multiple devices, you might want to bring a power out strip. Oh, look at that view. Love that view. And right behind me is this little control. We have lighting, as we do on the other side. Also right above the power outlet is a temperature control. It doesn't quite work. It took a while for me to cool down. So right here we have a call for the attendant, some lighting switches, and this so-called music control. It does absolutely nothing. Yeah. There's also some hangers, which I was too lazy to use. And here's the door. You can close the blinds for privacy, as well as lock like this, so that no one can enter when you're asleep. Unfortunately, you cannot lock it from the outside, which of course makes sense. Oh my god, look at that forest. Before long, it was time for another meal. Grilled cheese with a bit of turkey, I think it's turkey, coleslaw, chips, Caesar salad, water, coffee, and bonus fox. Overall, not bad. Lunch concluded and we returned to civilization, having mobile signal again. Also, being back in the Pacific Northwest, this meant rain and a lot of it. Nothing a bright orange fox can help with. Come 4 o'clock, we roll into Portland, complete with an extended stop. Hello! Given that this was recorded in November, this was also the last bit of full daylight we'll be having for the rest of the trip, and thus the darkness will be setting in. Thankfully, after crossing 3 bridges, we are back in Washington with only 3 hours left on our trip and even heavier rain to be had. An hour after leaving Portland, darkness had taken over. 5 p.m. called for dinner, which was a 3-course experience that included an appetizer, a main course, a dessert, and a complimentary alcoholic beverage. Respectively, I ordered a tamale, a steak, entree, and a cheesecake. Not bad, Amtrak, for saving the best for last. With only an hour and a half left, I decided it was time to pack up and just vibe with music for the rest of the trip. To my surprise, when we entered Tacoma, we made up for our delay, and were set for an on-time arrival into Seattle at 7:30, passing by some familiar sights before pulling into Seattle's gorgeous King Street station. Looking back, there's a certain charm that comes with taking the train. You get to see the country at a much more intimate pace, seeing places and towns that you would otherwise overlook by driving or flying. Being able to take in the scenery and mostly unplug from the world in the process is a nice refreshing break. In a way, the train is like a land cruise. Yeah, it's pricey, often costing more than a flight. The sleeper car itself can cost as much as a first class or even coach at last minute. And the trip can take so much longer, but you get an experience that many people forget is right in our backyard. And I'm grateful for this chance. If you have an opportunity to take a long distance Amtrak train, I highly recommend that. Thanks for watching this journey. Have you done such a trip before? If you have, please leave a comment below telling your story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe and hit that bell for more adventures or goofy stuff. See you next time.